What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Bumstead. As the 6 times Mr. Olympia champion in classic physique, he is slowly making his way back into the gym after a very long season. So after doing just one show per year since 2017, this was the very first time Chris did 2 shows, and for that reason he had to diet longer. And it has been his strategy to do longer preps in the past few years. And the reason was so that he had to take less gear, less PEDs, and preserve his health. So in that regard, this was a long training camp for Chris Bumstead. Now for a guy who had the most classic looking physique on the planet for the last 6 years, and how young Cbum still is, you won't see him get out of shape anytime soon. Because he just retired from competitive bodybuilding. He is just retired from competing. The man still loves bodybuilding, and he is gonna continue to train for as long as he possibly can. But the retirement will definitely allow him to drop the workout intensity, because Cbum used to train so heavy and so hard, especially during the earlier phase of his career. But the chances of him making a comeback, even after a couple of years, they are very little at this point, because his body was already kind of beat up and burnt out. He had some injuries during the final few years, especially in the last couple of years of his Olympia reign, where we saw him had a bicep tear and a lat tear. Watch out for the Egyptian tank Hassan Mustafa, as he plans to return to the stage this summer, and this time with a far better conditioning than what we saw from him at this year's Chicago Pro and also at Toronto Pro. Now I keep on mentioning Hassan Mustafa in all of these update videos, because all he has to do is to get truly shredded and bring that next level of conditioning, and he is gonna start winning shows again. Now he is without any shadow of a doubt the most difficult athlete to peak 100% and to work with, because apart from AJ Sims, all the other top gurus who have worked with him, all of the biggest names in the coaching game, they have all struggled to get him in shape consistently. Now it is kinda too bad that Hassan's partnership with AJ Sims, that only lasted for 2 shows, and he did not do the Olympia that year because he looked so ripped in both the shows that he did back in 2022, and he was getting ready for the Olympia up until 2 weeks out, when he had to drop out because of some health concern. Now I truly believe with the size that Hassan Mustafa had at both the shows that he did this year, he would have been fighting for the title in Chicago Pro against Muhammad Fadda, as well as against Akeem Williams at Toronto Pro this year. But those looks, they were probably the worst looks of his entire career. Now I have got to say, once the waistline grows, it's just not possible to make it look like the way it used to be back in his early days. And whoever advised Hassan Mustafa during the early phase of his pro career, that just totally ruined his physique to chase that much muscle mass. Because in my opinion, he just did not need any more size, even back then. And his overall physique, that looked so streamlined at Tampa Pro 2019. Now we do not know whether he can bring back that look, because his current size, with those beautiful lines, that will be so competitive even in this current era, when the level of competition has just gone so up. So Nathan Full doesn't mess around when it comes to his off-season bulks. He certainly isn't one of those guys who believe that a bodybuilder needs to be presentable and ready for a guest posing all year round, because Nathan Full eats big time in the off-season, and his opinions, they are always very unfiltered, and that is why he has such a loyal fan base, people who follow him so religiously.
Beauty is pain, as they say. Well, it's coming.
Now Nathan, as of right now, hasn't announced what show is gonna go for in 2025, but he did mention that he will like to return to a Dubai Pro show that is scheduled in June next year. But as of right now, rumors are that the prize money at this upcoming Dubai Pro, that is gonna be even more than last year. So expect to see some very big names at that show, like for instance Martin Fitzwater, and possibly some other big names as well. Now Nathan at his best, he placed top 7 at Miss Olympia, and that was the time when Phil Heath and Big Ramy, they were going at it. But I believe it is gonna be so hard and way harder for Nathan Full to ever beat his Olympia placings again in these current times, because just look at some of the names that Nathan Full has to beat to place top 6 at the Olympia level. Now if I have to bet, it is highly unlikely that Nathan will ever go back to the Olympia competition again but we do look forward to him stepping back on the stage against some of the top pros of current era in multiple shows next year. All the eyes are gonna be on the freaky looking Goodvito, as he is gonna start his prep for the Arnold Brazil very soon, and with no Tonio Burton and Rafael Brandao this time, who were the top 2 at this show this year. Goodvito is certainly gonna be the hot favorite to get his first pro win, as well as his Olympia qualification for next year. But his season will start to get more exciting, as Vito is planning to enter the mighty Pittsburgh Pro and go up against the likes of Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater, and then he is gonna do the New York Pro as well. Now again, I have to say, keep in mind, it was a very close show between him and Martin at Detroit Pro earlier this year, and Goodvito is coming back to the stage after making some massive off-season gains. And the man looked so damn good and so freaky and so huge in the last couple of updates that we have seen from him. So this isn't any ordinary athlete. Goodvito is a genetic freak, and I think he can just turn his whole career around next year, because all the doubts that people had that he just cannot bring that Instagram look to the stage, well, I have to say he looked even better than that. First at the Arnold Brazil, and he was even better at Detroit Pro. And the amount of muscle mass that Vito has packed, especially in this last 1 year, that is so unbelievable. Now Vito has been moving some impressive amount of weights in the gym in some of his recent updates, and we expect that he is gonna bring lots of back density and more thickness in his arms, especially in the side shots. Now I truly believe that Goodvito can really become one of the biggest stars in this upcoming year. So next up we have an update from Tonio Burton. So he is among those 4 top 10 Olympians from last year who did skip the Olympia this year, and Tonio was a unique case in a sense that he was actually able to qualify for the Olympia this year by winning Cali Pro, and all the other guys, they just weren't qualified. For instance, Michael Criso, Charles Griffin and Regan Grimes. But Tonio later decided that it is just best for his career that he should take the whole year off and focus on adding more size and getting more density in all the right areas, because that is what's needed from him as per the feedback from the judges. Now Tonio has more than 5 months before he steps on the stage again. For those of you guys who do not know, he is going back to the Legion Sports next year, the same show where he got his first men's open win, and he got to the Olympia stage, and he was able to beat a guy like Justin Rodriguez at that show. Now Tonio Burton has everything that it takes to be a great men's open bodybuilder. So the size that was lacking in the last couple of years, he has been trying to fill those gaps, and we are gonna see how much of that gap he has been able to fill, especially after this long off season, as this was his first real off season since his transition from the 212 into the men's open class. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.